Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll show you a horror thriller film, the Amityville Horror. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. The movie begins with the murderer in the basement hearing eerie voices, telling him to catch and kill his family. Eventually, he goes upstairs with a shotgun, shoots his mother, father, and 2 other siblings while sleeping. After that, he goes to the young girl's bedroom and shoots her. Following this, news begins to circulate about the murders and reaches the police. Eventually, the police arrest the murderer. The murderer states that he did kill his family because there are voices in the house that urge him to do so. 1 year later, the husband and the wife are looking for a new house. A newspaper posting leads them to Amityville lakefront house, where the sales agent is already waiting for them. The sales agent tours them around the house. While they are roaming around the house, the husband asks the sales agent if the price of the house is correct since the house is spacious, and it does not seem to fit the price. As they continue touring the house, they approach one of the bedrooms and see a boathouse outside near the lake. Eventually, the wife remarks that this is the perfect house since the husband has a boat. During this time, the sales agent sees a shadow in the hallway, but ignores it. Continuing to explore the place, they check the basement. The husband sees a digital clock that shows 3:15 a.m. After touring the house, the husband and the wife talk about purchasing the house. Even though the husband is half-hearted about purchasing the house, he still agrees with the wife about buying it. After things are settled, the husband asks the sales agent why the house is being sold for a low price. The sales agent hesitantly informs the husband and the wife that there has been a murder of several people in the house. The sales agent also claims that the town had already moved on from the murder a year ago. Despite knowing the gruesome history of the house, the husband and the wife decide to purchase the house. After purchasing the house, the husband, the wife, and their 3 kids, Michael, Billy, and Chelsea, move together with their dog into the Amityville lakefront house. As they settle in at their new house for their first night, the wife visits each Michael's and Chelsea's room. The wife tells Billy to pray. However, Michael remarks that prayers do not come true, since it did not happen when he prayed to keep his biological father alive. The wife explains that things happen even though they cannot understand the reason behind them. The wife also tells Michael that even though the stepfather is already part of their new lives, it does not change their biological father's place. Later that evening, as the wife talks to her mother over the phone, the husband feels extreme coldness in their room. Eventually, the husband checks the heater in the basement and adds heat to the house. The husband sees the digital clock that shows 3:15 a.m. for the second time. He tries to fix it, but to his disappointment, it does not seem to be working. When midnight comes, the husband wakes up to the wife seducing him to play a hormone game. As they are letting go of their hormones, the husband sees the apparition of the young girl hanging by a rope on the ceiling. The husband asks the wife to stop the smelly game because somebody is peeping on the ceiling. Realizing that there are no other people in the room, they continue their game. The following morning, as the wife is cleaning the house, she hears Chelsea talking to someone in her room. The wife goes to Chelsea's room. The wife sees Chelsea drawing something on a piece of paper. She then asks who she is talking to. Chelsea answers that she is having a word with the young girl. The wife then asks if the young girl is the one Chelsea is drawing. Chelsea refuses to tell since the young girl tells her not to. Following this, while the husband is working outside the house, Billy approaches him holding a bear trap. Billy tells his father that he found it in the basement. The husband then tells Billy never to go to the basement. After this, the wife goes home from the grocery store. As they arrange their groceries, the wife asks the husband where Chelsea is. To the wife and the husband's surprise, Chelsea is nowhere inside the house. They hear their dog barking at the boathouse and find Chelsea standing on the boat and looking sternly at the water. The husband safely gets Chelsea. The wife then asks Chelsea what she is doing there. Chelsea tells the mother that the young girl leads her there. Eventually, the husband decides to lock the boathouse. Later in the evening, Billy goes to the bathroom to pee. He feels that there is someone outside the bathroom. After peeing, he washes his hands on the sink. A brownish grotesque figure appears behind him. Meanwhile, a husband wakes up to the sound of their dog barking. The husband looks outside and sees that the door of the boathouse is open. He thinks that Chelsea is there. Without hesitation, he runs to the boathouse and sees the dog barking at the lake water. He dives in, but finds no one in the water. A few minutes later, the husband steps out of his boathouse and sees a young girl in Chelsea's bedroom window. The husband then runs to Chelsea's room to check. To his surprise, he sees that Chelsea is sleeping silently and no one is in the room with her. The husband goes to the walk-in closet to get a stuffed toy. As he enters the walk-in closet, the young girl is pinned on the ceiling by a big pale pair of hands. However, the husband is not seeing it. Instead, he proceeds on getting the stuffed toy and places it beside Chelsea. The following day, the wife wakes up and finds that the husband is not on the bed. Meanwhile, in the basement, the husband rebukes the dog from clawing the foot of the wall. When the dog leaves, the husband sees a small crack on the wall. When the wife enters the basement, she finds the husband seated in front of the wall crack. The husband goes down to the basement to get some warmth. The wife invites him to come to bed for a warm hormone game, but the husband tells the wife that someone keeps on opening their bedroom window and the basement is the only place in the house that is not cold. Later, the husband is awakened by the dog's noise. He also mentions to the wife that he found the boathouse key in Michael's room while checking on each of his stepchildren. Later on, the husband punishes Michael by letting him help around the house. The husband keeps on insisting that Michael is the one who opens the boathouse. Meanwhile, while cleaning the dishes in the kitchen, the wife feels someone runs behind her. When she turns around, she sees the letter magnet on the fridge that says, "Catch them and kill them." The wife checks the basement to see if Michael is there. When she finds no one, she returns to the kitchen and sees the husband drinking water. To her surprise, when she checks back, the magnet letters are jumbled, and it does not show any words or phrases. One night, the husband and the wife decide to go for a night out. They hire a babysitter to watch the children. When the wife offers the babysitter a tour of the house, the babysitter remarks that it is not necessary anymore, since she is already familiar with the house. The babysitter tells the wife that she used to babysit with the last owners of the house, who got murdered. Immediately following the husband and his wife's departure, the babysitter informs Michael of the murders that have taken place in the residence. During the babysitter's narration, Billy appears and begins to listen to the story. After this, the babysitter enters Chelsea's room with Michael and Billy. The babysitter tells Michael and Billy that the young girl got murdered inside the walk-in closet. Chelsea then informs the babysitter that she is lousy, saying the young girl tells her of this. The babysitter begins to chastise the young girl for being the reason for her dismissal from her previous babysitting job. Eventually, Michael challenges the babysitter to enter the walk-in closet. The babysitter accepts the challenge and enters the walk-in closet. To her shock, the closet door closes by itself, and she gets trapped inside. The babysitter screams for help and commands Michael and Billy to open the closet door. Michael and Billy try to open it, but it won't open. After a while, the babysitter comes face to face with the young girl and begs her to leave. She collapses and is taken away by paramedics later. Outside, the babysitter informs the wife that she has seen the young girl, who is supposed to be dead. After this, the wife and the husband scold Michael and Billy because they thought the children pulled a prank on the babysitter. The wife eventually tells Michael and Billy to go upstairs and sleep, but the two children hesitate to inform the mother and the husband that they know of the killings in the home. The husband and the wife are surprised to hear it from the children. The husband then aggressively commands Michael and Billy to go upstairs finally. Following this, the wife checks on Chelsea and asks her what happened with the babysitter. Chelsea informs the mother that the young girl hurt the babysitter because the babysitter is terrible. Chelsea also tells the mother that the young girl will not harm her. However, Chelsea says that the murderer is the terrible one who makes the young girl do bad things. A few days later, the husband goes to the bathtub to bathe. To his surprise, an aggressive pair of arms grab him underwater, almost drowning him. The wife eventually saves him. The following day, the husband and the wife go to a doctor to see if the husband is fine after the drowning accident. As they go home, the wife is surprised to see Chelsea calling her from the house's roof. The husband and the wife immediately come to Chelsea's rescue, successfully saving Chelsea from danger. Eventually, the ghostly activity continues as the husband's behavior toward the wife and the three children grows abusive. The husband hears the dog barking again in the boathouse one night. The husband appears to be possessed as he gets the axe and mercilessly murders the dog. The next day, Michael, Billy, and Chelsea seek the dog. The husband then keeps on insisting that he does not know where the dog is. However, Michael doubts the father knows nothing. Following this, the wife urges the priest to sanctify the house as a preventive precaution against further unexplained experiences. However, the priest runs his ass quickly away from the house when he also encounters similar occurrences. Eventually, the wife learns that the house formerly belonged to the cult preacher, who performed wicked activities against Native Americans throughout his mission during the 17th century Amityville, which hence are claimed to be the source of the haunting. Meanwhile, the husband witnesses the apparitions of several Native Americans tormented and slaughtered by the cult preacher centuries ago, as he walks around the house's basement. Eventually, husband opens the crack on the basement wall. He then walks into a poorly lit chamber. Inside, he runs into the cult preacher himself. Its ghostly apparition turns back, picks up a knife, and slices his throat, covering the husband in blood, and causing him to be possessed. Following this, the wife believes the husband's aggressive behavior is the result of demonic possession. The wife tries to get Michael, Billy, and Chelsea out of the home and bring them to safety after receiving urgent advice from the priest. However, the possessed husband tries to kill his wife and the children. Eventually, to prevent him from doing so, the wife knocks the husband out and removes him away from the house. As a result, the husband becomes free of the demonic grip. After this, the family decides to leave the house permanently. The movie ends with the house rearranging itself. Meanwhile, a young girl stands in the now empty house while screaming in horror. The young girl is then dragged beneath the floor by a pair of strange hands. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.